Okay. So this is Mesut, and I'm from Turkey. I mostly worked in Turkey, and now I'm living in Tokyo. Before this, I was working for Siemens in Istanbul office,
Yes.
and I just moved here 1 month ago. So
Hmm.
I'm here in Japan, Tokyo, for 1 month, and this is a new domain for me. And again work with test automation. Because
Hmm.
I always, in my professional life, I worked in test and QA departments.
Yeah.
I worked in Siemens for 4 years. And
Hmm.
before that, again, in another company in Turkey, I was again working for testing purposes, testing
Yeah.
activities. So in my whole professional life, I was working for QA activities and lately mostly on test automation.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, it's very glad to know that you have tons of experience in various different domains, I guess, right? Now, recently, I think I've seen it as you're doing something with the robotics kind of things, right?
That
Yeah.
that is right. That is right. The company that I'm working for now is Rapyuta Robotics,
Hmm.
and we are developing some robots for warehouse solutions. I mean, in the warehouses, there's a great area. There's a very huge area. So
Hmm.
instead of going or carrying some objects by hand, the robots are carrying them. So they are autonomous mobile robots. We program them to carry the objects to one place to another one on the map.
Fantastic. So it's kind of a more towards the hardware and the physical machines as well, right? So there's a software and there's which controls all the there's a kind of IoT technologies to connect with all these robots.
Exactly. There's a software part, there's a firmware part, and there's the hardware as well. So
Fantastic.
this is an end-to-end solution.
Yeah,
So
it's
we have to test each piece of the system.
yeah, good, good, fantastic. Yeah, so let me fire a few questions on the general industry, how they are shaping
Sure.
up. So as you
Mhm.
spoke, right? So what is the biggest myth you heard about test automation?
I think it will be whenever we automate test cases or whenever we automate, everything will be smooth and everything we will be done. I mean, when we automate, okay, we don't need testers anymore because all the test cases are automated. They can be executed on their own. I think this could be the biggest myth because it doesn't work like this. I mean,
Absolutely, yes,
yeah, when you automate, you are not finished. I mean, you have to continue to maintain them
exactly.
because yeah, maybe they can be executed automatically. That's right, but you will not be every time collecting the correct results. Sometimes it will be some false alarms,
Yes,
or sometimes you will have some flaky tests, passing
correct.
one time and failing one time.
Yeah,
So you have to put a analysis effort or maintenance effort.
yeah,
So after automating everything, you have to continue to maintain them or manage them, the test cases. Sometimes you have to refactor the test code. You have to improve the quality of the code itself. Because we have to have some strong quality gates. We are automating our cases and integrating them into our pipelines. But before integrating them, we have to have some strong quality gates to check some, what can I say, the different aspects of quality of the test code.
yeah.
So most probably the biggest myth is it is not that easy. I mean,
Yes.
uh,
So
even if you do not do it in the proper way, maybe it will not. It will be less efficient when we compare to manual testing.
correct, correct.
So we should really do it in the proper way.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question, right? So during this pandemic, how test automation has transformed what and what's the impact on product development and delivery?
Yeah. Firstly, I have to say that maybe we are somehow lucky, or one of the lucky groups or sectors in the world, because this pandemic affected too many people and too
Yes.
many industries. But as software engineers, I have to say that we are really in the lucky side.
Lucky to be there, right? Yeah.
Exactly, because we don't have to work physically most of the time, and we can open our laptops and start working somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe even we do not go to the office, we can still work from home.
Yes.
That is the advantage.
Yeah.
But of course, still, I think it is affected. Not maybe directly. but in some indirect ways.
Hmm.
Because we are not working individually most of the time. We are working in the teams. This has to be a teamwork.
Yeah.
So we are communicating to each other, and we are communicating to some other people.
Yeah.
So now it is not mostly face-to-face communication, but mostly by virtual meetings or some other communication. So it is now somehow different, and I think this affected the efficiency of the communication. Somehow, when you sit together in a meeting room and communicate on some features, requirements, or the way of your working, then sometimes it is much more easier to agree on something.
Yes.
Or much more efficient, because you can directly agree on the same issue, and you can be on the same page immediately. But when we are talking not face to face but over virtual channels,
Yes.
it is sometimes not that easy. I mean, sometimes there are some misunderstandings. There are some other difficult ways to agree. So I think somehow the test automation is affected. This is one side for the efficiency, and the other part is, I think, about the releases. I mean, our release cycles maybe are affected due to this pandemic, because before it was not like this. Maybe, I mean, we had to be very fast and quick to go to the market first, but now maybe it is somehow different. Maybe we should concentrate on some different aspects. So so directly or indirectly somehow, I think, yeah, eventually it is affected.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one, right? How do you think the test automation is changing in today's world, right? So there's a lot of new automation products are coming across, and what are the trends that you are seeing? How people are receiving the test automation?
Yeah, I think technology is growing too fast. I mean, now most of us have smartphones, right? I think almost every people has it. But before we didn't have them. So it is now in the center of our lives, but it was not the case a time ago. So the products that we are using are changing, and the technology on those products or systems are changing as well. For example, when we are testing the products that we use a time ago, maybe we were testing only desktop applications. That was all. Then we started to see some web applications, and we started to focus on that part more. And we started to concentrate on the UI automation and front-end automation. We started learning some frameworks like Selenium or some other libraries, lots of things. And then now mobile applications, right? It is not limited to on desktop or web applications, and also the mobile applications as well. So really the technology is growing fast. I mean, now we do not see internet only on our machines or only on our computers, but on some objects as well. This is IoT, Internet of Things, Internet of Objects. We can see them in pieces in our homes, houses, the smart home, smart house solutions, or in our vehicles, in the car. Sometimes you just speak and they understand it, because there are some speech-to-text solutions. And we can see lots of smart machines in our lives, not only on the computers. So this is what I'm trying to say is we have to test all these products if we are manufacturing this or developing this. Before going production, we have to test all of this. So now we are not only testing the web applications or the desktop applications, we are testing applications with the hardware itself, with the object itself. And they can be small pieces, maybe mobile applications. And at this time, since they have a limited capacity or they have a limited memory, now we are seeing mostly edge computing or cloud computing solutions as well. The mobile itself only gets the request and sends it to the cloud for cloud computation, and then gets back the response. So now we are seeing mostly edge computation and cloud computation solutions, IoT, and I think in the future we will see more AI assisted applications as well, because now we are producing lots of data.
Yeah.
We are using all Internet of Things solutions, and we have internet everywhere. So whenever we produce some data, they are collected somewhere. They are uploaded to the cloud platforms, and the data is over there. So now we have a chance to analyze this data, and we have a chance to have some data mining solutions. I think, in short, what I'm trying to say is the technology is growing in a way.
Yeah.
And the way we test these products and these systems are changing in the same way.
Fantastic. So to add to that, right? So want to extending question on that. So how do you see the AI role in test automation? There's today in a lot of market number of tools coming out with using artificial intelligence in their products.
Yeah.
For example, they're saying self-healing scripts, for example. So
exactly.
How do you see that is industry embracing this kind of new ways of doing test automation?
Yeah, I already see lots of applications that already embraced AI solutions into testing products or solutions. And there are some communities working on this. And we have lots of chances to integrate AI solutions into different testing phases. I mean, for test definition, we can embrace or adapt AI solutions, or test execution, as you told, for healing the failing test cases, or reporting. For all of these stages, we have a chance to integrate AI solutions.
Right.
And there are lots of applications, mostly for executing and detecting the failures and trying to understand the reason of the failure. And then they provide some self-healing solutions. We already see lots of test products integrating AI solutions, but I think in the future we will see more.
Yeah,
because
so
it has
from a testing point of view, from a testing mindset point of view, there is only a pass or a fail, right? So usually when you say when you do a test, it's whether you call it as a pass or a fail. You don't call it as in between, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So usually when you associate with the AI is always driven with the probability, right? So it means it is never 100%. So how do you people? I mean, like if you have to sign off because AI said, someone said, okay, probably this is correct. Are you happy to sign it off as a QA head?
Yeah, I think this is the big discussion. Will robots replace us, or will AI replace us? And why I believe the answer is no is this fact. I mean, yeah, they maybe will give us lots of advantages, and they will make life easier for us. But at the end, we will need a human evaluation at the last cycle. They will give us some maybe suggestions or some other ways, some ideas. But at the end, the one who will decide to accept it or not will be a human being.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Bang on.
Yeah. So of course, testers cannot be fully replaced by robots or machines, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, even though if it's an automation is generating a test case or something, it has to be understood by the human and says, yes, I am okay with kind of the solution that you are giving.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes with.
Yeah, it should be reviewed, it should be understood, and it should be accepted. Yeah.
So to add to that, right? So today, automation is an independent silo to the manual testing teams. Do you see them? How do you see? I mean, do you foresee the QA teams embracing automation for their day-to-day use? Rather, currently, I believe they are working in independent silos. Most of the organizations, there is a different engineers who does the automation and then execute them. And there's a manual tester who does the most of the exploratory testing and quick test kind of thing. Do you foresee that QA teams embracing the automation for their day-to-day purpose? For example, I would say it's more of an ad hoc testing. So I got a new build come in, and then rather than just always executing the regular smoke suit, can I just make up my own thing and then just execute it so that and quickly test myself rather than sticking with the standard script?
Actually, you're right. In some organizations, they are working in different silos, but in some organizations, they are working in the same group or same team. Even in some organizations, the testers are working very close to the developers. Even they are not separated. And what I believe is, I think manual testing and automated testing can be operated together. I mean, they should not be separated. Because at the end you have the testing mindset. Even if you are testing manually, or you are testing or you are making test automation, at the end you are testing. So you should be aware of the functionalities or the features of the product, and you should have the quality mindset. You should look from the customer perspective. So I believe those two divisions have the same mindset and have the common goal. The common goal is, of course, to improve or increase the quality. So even if these are only the details of the way we are achieving this goal, either in manual way or in automated way. But at the end, we are trying to do the same thing. We are trying to achieve the same goal. So I think those can be collected together, because automation, we cannot automate everything, right? We have to decide which test cases we will automate.
Yes.
So I believe really these two should be operated together.
Okay, one last question from my side is, today there is a, I see when I explore the automation tools that are there in the market today, there are two categories, I would say. One stands towards that, where you write a lot of scripting, and the other side of tools where there is okay, you don't need to do any coding at all, and you can do most of the automation by yourself, right? So there's two extreme things that I see today. So which way do you bias? Which is what do you think is the right way to do it?
I'm not sure which.
You have to pick up a tool. I mean, if you have to see one thing that you would expect to see in a test automation tool.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure which is the correct way, but for the platforms or systems in which I code or the QA members code, I feel more comfortable in that part, because if you use some tools or platforms in which you do not have to code anything, but sometimes I feel limited in some region. I feel like the flexibility is not that high in that alternative, in that option, because when you code everything, then you can do whatever you want, right? If you have the coding skills, but you have to decide. I mean, it can depend on the team structure. If you have lots of testers or QA guys with coding skills or not, or if the tool will provide you the options that you need, then you can pick up a tool or platform. But otherwise, you can pick to develop your own solution. But mostly, personally, what I prefer is the own developed solution.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you very much for your time. It's really a pleasure talking to you. One last thing I would like to ask you is, what is your suggestions to your newbies that are coming into the industry? So what do you suggest to them?
I generally suggest them to be brave and to have courage to ask lots of questions, because for a tester, asking questions is very important.
The important thing, absolutely.
Yeah. Doubt about everything. I mean, it is not about trust. Of course, we are trusting what our colleagues are developing, but it may somehow functioning in the wrong way, or not in the desired way, or maybe not in the optimum way. Yes. So we should be doubting everything, and because when we doubt about everything, we can find some room for improvement, right? This is some open points for improvement. And this is the expectance from us. We should find the vulnerabilities or weaknesses on the product, on the systems, on which we can improve. So ask lots of questions and think about every possible improvement point.
Yeah, fantastic. That's very rightly said. I think the key for QAting is the exploratory testing, and that's where you have to ask more questions to get what is the user expectation is. And
exactly.
You have to behave like a user, different types of user, not just as a one user, I guess. So you have to
Exactly.
be a good user, bad user, and all those kind of different hats you need to put it on to see the
Yeah.
right use of that.
Yeah, exactly. Because maybe some users will not be able to use it very easily. So you should be thinking about the usability as well. You should be thinking about the functionality and some cross-functionals, lots of things, a different, a wide range of perspective you should have.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time, Mesut. Yeah, we were very, very glad to be having this discussion with you. Right?
Thank you, Ram. Thank you as well. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure for me as well.
It's my pleasure.